Hello everyone, and here the question I want to answer today is how to create a custom playable character in Unreal. I hate rigging, I hate weight painting, it takes a lot of time, just a waste of time in my mind. With advent of new technology like Accurig, which is free software, we can now do the whole export from 3D code to rig character to under like 10 minutes. Use timecode to jump between the project parts, and feel free to ask me questions in the comment section. So I started using the curve brush, and I'm using one of the alphas on the right. I can see I'm using the diamond alpha. I did a few tests before I recorded this sketch. I did a few other sketches using different alphas. For the look I was searching for, and this even for like a wow factor and for quick progress, this diamond alpha showed to be pretty cool because I was able to create a concept. It took me not that quick, it took me maybe 40 minutes trying to experiment with different stuff, but still it's pretty quick. And texturing took me, I don't know, another 15-20 minutes. And then we have rigging, and well, rigging actually took me a while to figure it out because there are few videos out there that don't really show the process I was looking for, so I wasted a bit of time. However, once figured out how to do rigging, now it can be done in minutes with export to Unreal. It can also be done super quickly. So here in Sculpting, I'm using the diamond alpha. It creates this pattern that while I was doing it, I'm thinking about the character, right? So I will be doing more type of ruined medieval environments or ancient ruins, ancient temples, whatever. So I wanted something that had kind of like, I started to think about a metallic golem character. And this alpha was really giving me this type of like if you think about Game of Thrones, the throne that was melted from 1,000 swords, this is a very similar idea. Well, right now it may be a bit hard to see it, but once the textures are applied, but like metallic cross textures, that really starts to look quite a bit like that. But another thing I was looking at, I wanted to make it somewhat ambiguous, like it could be used as some kind of nano suit in a sci-fi setting. So if I don't use the rusty metallic textures, it will look, well, quite a bit more sci-fi. I was purposefully avoiding using certain tools like voxel hide and cutting through, because if voxel hide creates a flat surface, it starts to actually a bit more sci-fi. I really wanted to keep using the brush strokes. And well, you can see here I'm using a little bit of voxel hide because some of the parts are poking out a bit too far, so I have to trim them. Or in some cases, what I ended up doing, I completely removed everything and just redid it. The control can be a little bit finicky in terms of like sometimes the stroke goes overlapping on top of another strokes. It starts to twist and turn, and you get this almost artifact looking stuff. So that's not ideal, and I didn't like that. So in most cases, I'll just press undo and redo it, and basically I'm trying to get this nice stroke, right? So I can do the same stroke 10 times. If undo, do it a few times, undo, use voxel hide to remove everything, and then try again. If there's too much meddling, it gets noisy, and then you lose that strong strokes, and that easy readability of the design is getting lost. So I have to I have to make sure that from the first try, the stroke I'm doing is good. It has like a direction, has a strength to it. Basically, the moment I'm trying to fix this curve, like I was just doing right now, it gets a bit annoying. So in this case, I deleted the bottom and I used the pose tool to pose everything down. It didn't look good, so I decided to just took the whole feet, put them down, and just kind of make. And now I'm using the move tool, so I'm kind of covering the leg up. It's it doesn't have to be a real suit. Might not even be a real human. It might be just some magical creature covered in metal. But by the way, you can see the overall sketch is basically done here. I'm just tweaking it and trying to improve and stuff. This is good enough to send to somebody. Good enough to give it a test if you don't want to meddle too much. So here I'm removing a big chunk of the hip to try a different brush stroke. And I think I did it actually. So now you can see sometimes I do add some noise, like a filler noise in the armpits or on the inner thigh, that helps to add some detail. One thing I tried not to do too much, I tried not to smooth it, because smoothing does tend to kill a lot of detail. Though sometimes I'm really tempted to smooth it a little bit. I would still recommend again smoothing if you want to do a fresh looking sketch. Especially looking at the back, because if it's a playable character, I'll be looking from the back all the time, right? So I want to make sure that the back looks nice. I decided to redo the calves because they were too noisy before, so I redid everything. And I'm okay to use some noise to break a curve, so it doesn't go through the whole body. Otherwise, it looks almost forced when it's not forced, but almost cartoony. Now I want to just do the hands. You can see no fingers. I don't want to do fingers. They will add a lot more time, and there's not much point for a sketch to have it. Because then if you want to rig them, even in Accurig, you have to spend a bit of time trying to set up the fingers. Otherwise, it's all done. So now I can go to decimation and the texturing. So now right-click on the leg, go top of by decimation, and here you have to use the slider to adjust the polygon count because it will not decimate more than 40,000 triangles. I want to have a fairly dense model, at least 80,000 triangles, so it will have a nice animation. And you can see a pretty nice mesh, to be honest. The silhouette is great, it's fantastic. That decimation is benefit. And maybe it could have more density on the joints, but I'm okay with that. It's just a sketch end of the time. So in the rotor room, I have to click on one of the UV tools to get all the UV panels. So I click on the UV pass, and then I just go scroll down to automap. So we just run automap. Automap created a lot of small shells, which is not great. However, it just baked fine. So now let's go and bake. I will go click on the bake with automap. And here just go regulate the cage inflation. So I mean how big or small it is. Click OK. Change my preset to Unreal Engine, so it affects the normal map mostly. And I went with 2K, but I think I rebaked it later at 4K. Now in the texture room, however, it shows my sculpting meshes, so I have to go into sculpt tree and hide all the sculpting meshes, and now I have the preview of the baked mesh, and it's honestly a really nice bake. Okay, so I'll go into the edit, and I want to calculate occlusion and also calculate the curvature that will help us later with the smart materials. You can see the bake, and then I'll go calculate the curvature. Now we have all our maps ready for the smart materials. I start to apply the first smart materials, and right now my lighting is not great, so I will go to the top icon and switch to some other lighting because it was kind of too dim before. I'll just fill it up with this metal material. Then I want to I'm clicking on different materials, trying to find the one I like. And I'm using that top zoom icon to change the scale of texture. Doing a full fill. Trying to just hand paint with a brush. like I want to have, I don't want to all look like one dull, like dull metal. I do want to introduce some shiny parts. So in this case, I'm introducing, well, even more dull parts, rust metal. But then I will start to introduce just a bit more shiny stuff. Switch to different lighting. Every now and then I can also go into render room and check how it looks when it's rendered. So I like this scratches material. So I can see here, I play with the degree level to see how strong or not strong I want the scratches to be, or like metallic unfold and metallic reveal. And then I just start to paint the material in. So I'm not using the fill tool, I'm just using the brush with the smart material activated, and I paint that smart material on some parts of the model to put some accents on the top, on the face, on the top chest, on the hands, on the sides, hips. Somewhere where it will kind of naturally rub off a little bit as well, so it will be a bit more shiny. And now I'm erasing just the color. I'm erasing not, well, actually erased both roughness and color and normal. But in another pass, I will just erase the color. I activated the dirt, and I wanted to make really dusty. I want to introduce more dust on the legs. Well, there is more dirt on the character itself as well. And then I used that dirt, but it's like too much of it. So I thought, okay, this is like a character runs on the ground, so we can bring up some dust on their legs, on the feet. It can be in some parts of the body. But not too much dirt all over the place. So now just erasing the color, and I should have erased more color, to be honest. This was, well, should have made it a bit more dull. In real looks better, but still experimenting with different approaches, different looks. And that's about it for the texturing process. Let's go export this. So File, Export Objects and Textures. It's already been set up as here, so I've already put a folder where I'm going to export this. I set up the FBX export units, so we want to use centimeters. I want to use Z-up coordinate system for Unreal. I want to use normal map preset, which is Unreal Engine. And I want to export only color, roughness, metalness, and tangent spells, tangent space normal map. So I'll click export. Then you do need to get the Accurig, so you go to the Accurig website, just Google it, you will get the link is also in the description. So you can then click on download free, install it, and now we're inside Accurig, and I just want to load up my character. So I can go, you can see here the preferable poses, so I have my A pose, pick my golem character, hit OK. I got my character here. Sometimes it will be a blank screen and it cannot pick up some random texture from 3D code and use it as a transparency, which is a little bit weird. However, and I just kind of was fighting with that and I removed all the textures in the texture folder, so it didn't pick up any opacity textures. Anyway, so right now we need to rotate this guy around and we position it. Right now it shows the character height being in centimeters, and it's actually from the side height, actual height of the character is about 2 meters. We can rotate it in Blender and bring it back to make sure it's accurately positioned. However, it was just fine as it is, rotating inside Accurig. So by clicking that button to rig it, we have pretty good joint positioning. I think I don't even want to change anything. I'll just click here, rig the right hand. I want 0 digits. Don't really need any. You can put fingers there, then you have to just spend more time trying to rotate them in position or put them in position. But I'm doing it super quickly. And there we go, we have an animated character. Then what I need to do, I just need to export this as FBX in Unreal presets, and I don't really need any textures, just ignore this and click export. I will change the name of this file to rigged. I went to Unreal Launcher and I want to create a new third-person preset. So this is where we can swap the mesh. I hit create. I'm inside the level, so I'll just go right-click, create a new folder, call it Golem. Just need to drag and drop my rigged FBX file into Unreal and go through the settings. So I want to check the skeleton. I want to switch it to mannequin skeleton. Then I want to make sure that in these advanced options, the use T0 as a ref pose is activated. It will limit the amount of errors we get on the input. Now it's imported. I will bring the textures later. So I'll go this Control-Shift-S to save all the assets in the scene. Then I need to go to the third person, go into the blueprints, and I just can double click on the main blueprint here, and I can just swap the skeletal mesh to the golem mesh. I can just type it in and go golem skeletal mesh. I can then check a viewport preview, right? So this is looking good. It's already been swapped. And in the screen here, press Alt-P to activate, to start play. It's playing, right? And, it's all running, done in a few seconds. For textures, I'll just pick these guys out and I will drag and drop them inside here. I'll press Control-Shift-S to save the materials. Then I go inside this material, the main material we have, and on to right-click, go and look for texture, sample parameter 2D, and Control-C, Control-V, Control-C, Control-V. We just I'll rename it here. I call it color. I renamed all the nodes and I just go and connect it. And here the textures are not packed, they're not highly optimized in that regard. Since again, doing it as quickly as possible without packing. And let's get this into normal. So now I have my material. Well, I just need to now bring the textures. So I have to go and look for correct textures in each slot. We need to create a little control for roughness. So the texture has been placed. So right click, multiply node, and I want to go scalar parameter. This will allow us to control the amount of roughness that we'll be getting. So I'll plug it into A and I'll plug this into B and move this to roughness. And I want to rename this to roughness control. There are many ways you can control it, just one of them. And I go right click on this main material and create a material instance. I think I forgot to save. I forgot to save the material, Control S, and now everything is updated. And I have Control Shift S to save everything. And I want to apply this material to my golem. I will go double click on the golem. It has like a main material applied to it, but I want to actually apply a material instance. So I renamed it to M golem and MI golem, a material instance. Let's hit apply, save it. And I can bring the mesh here, so I can check how the roughness is operating. So then I can double click on material instance, see our global scalar parameter is right there, and I can start to make it more or less. One weird thing I don't really quite understand, that I can go in quite a high value like 50 and 60 and it will still be affecting the roughness. So it looked for me that I had to go pretty high, like 12, if I wanted to make it to make the character not too shiny. So click that, Control Shift S, saved it, and again Alt P, I can run around. I want to change the camera placement of this guy. I'll go back to my third-person character blueprint. It's really easy, actually. You have to just go into the viewport, pick the camera there, and I can manually move this around. And I can rotate it if I want, like that. Save it, and Alt-P. Now we can see the camera is much closer to the character. This is how I was doing some screenshots, because otherwise it was way too far away to see any textures. You guys for watching, and see you in the next videos.